So the Pittsburgh Steelers are being linked to just a team-changing trade. It's absolutely everywhere. I want to get on here for a moment and discuss it with you. The player that I'm talking about is LA Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford. And on top of that, there's a pretty well-known LA Rams player that might be added to the deal to sweeten the pot a little bit. So I'm going to get to that in just a moment. And if you're Pittsburgh Steelers fans, where do you find yourself coming into this offseason? You're between Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. Who do we choose? Who do we keep on this team? With this scenario coming up, the answer could be none of the above. And I want to hear what you guys think about this. Write on the message board, who would you like to see as the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers this coming season? And I'll interact with you. And what's up? This is Sports Talk Steelers. I'm Sean. Confession, died in the wool Chicago Bears fan. But when Justin Fields came over to Pittsburgh, I watched a ton of Pittsburgh Steelers football, got a little invested, and now I get an opportunity to provide an impartial view, an outsider's view of Pittsburgh Steelers football on the daily. So if you're interested, if this is helpful, hit the subscribe button. Would love to have you help grow this. So let's get to the point at hand. You've got two potential holes on this team at quarterback and wide receiver. I think that's obvious. A couple questions here. Is Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, are either of these guys able to put this team on their back and take you to the Super Bowl? Also, what about a number two receiver? You don't have one. Third question, maybe. Are the Pittsburgh Steelers in a spot that you're just a quarterback and a receiver away from contending for a championship? These are all things to consider, and these are things that we're going to chop up here. But the NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, he just reported on the Rich Eisen show that the LA Rams have given, in fact, for sure, Stafford permission to seek a trade to another team. Talking a big ticket item. Pittsburgh would need to be comfortable with a couple things. First, they'd need to be comfortable giving up a first-round pick for Matt Stafford, and also be willing to pay his huge salary. He's going to sign a big extension if he goes to another team. And then you also have Cooper Kupp. I mean, he is a guy that wouldn't require nearly as much in compensation because he also carries a kind of heavy contract. And also, he has been given permission to seek a trade as well. So his contract drastically reduces the amount of compensation that the Steelers would have to provide. And I'm just going to kind of give you a visual here. This is what is estimated that it would take to get these two guys in town. You're looking at most definitely Matthew Stafford is going to require a first-round pick. There's no way getting around that. But with Kupp, probably a fourth or fifth rounder, a day 3 pick. That's probably enough to secure Cooper Kupp. And the Steelers are definitely doing their due diligence, probably as we speak, as are other players in the league. You're probably looking at the Giants, the Browns, the Raiders. All of these teams are most definitely showing interest and probably in contact with the team. Stafford's a big ticket item. He's earned $364 million in his NFL career, arguably the top veteran quarterback available this offseason. And Fox Sports' Jordan Schultz, he reported about what the Rams would like as far as compensation. And I'm just going to do a direct quote here. Several teams per league sources have called LA about Stafford, and the belief is a first-round pick would probably be the asking price should the Rams choose to make a deal. He didn't dive too specifically into what it might take beyond that, but he questioned whether an NFL team would be willing to actually give up a first-round pick and then actually want to sign Stafford to a long-term extension. And the money involved, I think it's going to be astronomical. First-round pick, and you might be looking at a deal worth more than $50 million per year. Is that worth it? Is the juice worth the squeeze in this point, in this deal? The Steelers have the 21st pick overall. You could argue that that number 21 pick is closer to a high second rounder. Would other teams offer a first rounder? That's kind of a lot of conjecture here. But there's not much doubt that Stafford would be a quarterback upgrade, right? He would definitely be welcome. Wilson and Fields, they've been similar to what they were as far as an improvement over Kenny Pickett, only at a higher level. Last year, Stafford posted a 65.8% completion rate, 3,762 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Led the Rams to the same record as the Steelers, 10-6 in 16 starts, plus a playoff win. And then 3 years ago, you remember Stafford was a Super Bowl winning quarterback. The guy's turning 37 years old on February 7th. Well, he's already 37 years old now, older than Wilson, hardly a long-term solution. But are the Steelers to the point that they're desperate here? Looking at the Steelers electing to give up valuable draft capital for a quarterback who's approaching really the end of their career. The Steelers, in order to make this move, have to be fully confident they are ready to win a Super Bowl right now. But there should really be some doubt there. The entire Steelers roster played not so good at the end of the 2024 season. That's obviously a problem. A lot of it can be contributed to injuries. A lot of it can also be contributed to teams figuring out Wilson's moonball, figuring out that if you cover Pickens really tightly, nobody else can really hurt you. So those are kind of some issues. Offensive line injuries across the board, some key defensive injuries. We need to be looking at this team to see, okay, we can't predict injuries. If this team is healed up, if the offensive line is healthy, I think a healthy offensive line for you guys, it'll actually make it one of the strengths of this team. We're looking at whatever happens in free agency and in the draft. But I can't say this team as is isn't ready to compete. The question is whether these two players would greatly aid in that. You guys let me know in the comments, who do you want to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers? And is Matt Stafford, is he even a guy that you would consider? And also along in the tooth, Cooper Kupp, does he provide the teeth necessary to really round out this wide receiver group alongside George Pickens? Guys like Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin really came on for you guys. And you've also got Pat Freiermuth, who is just an incredible tight end. And you've just got some large humans in that tight end room to kind of round it out. So let me know what you think. You guys enjoying this offseason with you. Can't wait till the scouting combine. It's under a week away. See you guys later.